I've wanted to make this video for at least 2 or 3, 4, 5 years, and despite that, I still have no idea how to make this video. None at all. If you're here for cruise news, cruise updates, you're not going to find them in this video. Check out that one and learn something new. But if you're here for Emma Cruises and an update that affects my life, this channel, and what I do here for you guys, keep watching this video. Maybe grab a squash or a cup of tea because I've got a lot to tell you. It was back in 2016 that I started a website and then a YouTube channel, and I started it because I took my first Cunard cruise. I'd been cruising with my family since I was 11 years old. Every kind of 2 or 3 years we would take a cruise, but we would do it with Norwegian, with MSC, with one of the very relaxed cruise lines. And if you've ever taken a Cunard cruise, you'll know that that is not relaxed in any way. A Cunard cruise has the strictest dress codes that I've ever seen. It's afternoon tea, it's ballroom dancing, it's fantastic. But I sat there and I just thought, I knew nothing about this. This is not what I expected. It was kind of at that point that I had a realization that not everybody else knows how cool cruising is. I had so many friends who I knew would love it, but getting them to take a cruise was quite hard. It's quite difficult to convince someone to go on a cruise when they have all of these ideas about it being like the Titanic. So I sat down, I started this website, and I basically wanted to show people how cool cruising is and bust some of those misconceptions about cruising being for old people, cruising being expensive, cruising being boring, etc, etc. That was my mission at the time. When I first started this channel, I was filming in my flat, which is what we call an apartment here in the UK, and it was a tiny flat. It was 300 square foot, and it was small enough that I could not film YouTube videos on the same day that I did my washing, my laundry, because I had to dry my clothes in the room where I lived. We didn't have room for a dryer and we didn't have any outside space, so I had to literally schedule my YouTube videos on days where I knew I wouldn't be drying any of my clothes in the room. I have to say, going to work, coming home, going to the gym, it's raining, it's dark, getting in and trying to make a YouTube video. I don't know how I managed to motivate myself to do that because nobody was really on the other side. For those of you who've been here since the beginning, who've seen those early videos, I'll put a little clip here so you can see how awkward and sad I look. I wasn't sad. I look sad because I hadn't really developed the kind of YouTube expressive face yet, but I'm glad that I did it. Thank you to past me. And if you're somebody who's been here since the beginning, thank you so much to you. There's a couple of people who've been here since the beginning and have always been incredibly supportive, and I really appreciate it because I don't know that I would have got through that very early time for the first couple of years if it wasn't for you guys and for your encouragement. And of course, without you guys, it would be completely pointless. So if you've ever watched, well, you're watching the YouTube video now, but if you've ever watched any of my older videos, read any of my blog posts, thank you so much. For me personally, I went to university to study maths and I got a job as a data developer in the wonderful world of car insurance, and that is where I have stayed for the last 6 years. YouTube for me has always been just an evening and weekend project, and I have to be honest, for the last couple of years it's been getting more difficult to do it as a side project. The things that you see here on YouTube are very much the tip of the iceberg. As like a little duck, you see the little bit on top that's quite happily floating along, and then underneath the feet are going absolutely crazy. But I like it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it. The main thing for me, of course, was that my job paid me enough to pay my bills, and I would save up to do one big cruise per year and then maybe kind of a weekend break or a couple of weekend breaks if I could afford it. A couple of years ago, I realised that I could actually make a business out of all of this Emma Cruises stuff. I've got a course that I sell. If you've bought the course and you've enjoyed it, thank you so much. I do consultations, some of them on cruise related things and some of them on YouTube strategy, which is really fun. I make money through affiliate sales, through adverts on my YouTube channel and through my Patreon, which I just started last year. But although everything seemed to be going very well and I was building all of this stuff up, I didn't know that 2020 was going to hit and what that was going to do to the cruise industry. I don't need to tell you what's happened in 2020 with the cruise industry, but overnight on my website I lost 95% of my traffic, and the amount that you got for ads on YouTube, at one point it went down to 1/10 of what it had been at the start of 2020. It was very frustrating because it felt as if I'd done all of this work and then it was gone. Of course, it wasn't all gone. My YouTube videos are still there, my content's still on my website, everybody who I'd met through this channel still knows me and we still talk, but it was not good. On a kind of more personal note for me, in 2020 and 2021, 2 of my friends became seriously ill, from completely fine to seriously ill almost overnight. And when stuff like that happens, I think it makes you realize that life is completely so short and so unpredictable. Things changed in my day job and it kind of pushed me to make a decision. So if you haven't guessed from these balloons, these fabulous balloons, I quit. I'm not quitting YouTube. I'm not quitting anything cruise related. I have quit my day job. Something I've wanted to do for years and years and years. And thanks to you watching my videos, commenting on them, even if it's about potatoes, you have made this possible for me. Something I've been dreaming of for years and years and years. And I'm going to be able to do so much more now that this has my full attention. Everything you've seen so far from me on my channel, on my website, on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram has been done outside of my work hours. It's been done late at night or on the weekends. So I'm hoping that by being able to do that stuff in the daytime when I'm fully awake, things will get better. I'm very, very excited about it. Of course, it is scary. I've had the security of a 9-to-5 office job for the last 6 years, but it is time. It is time to go it alone. It is time to become Emma Cruises full time. It still hasn't sunk in at all, but I'm unbelievably excited. Now, if something happens and it's 11 a.m. or 2 p.m., a cruise line announces a piece of news, I will be able to tell you guys. I will be able to reply to your comments. I won't have to wait until 5 p.m. to even think about cruising. And it's going to be so much better. Hopefully for you guys too. I'm hoping that I can do loads more live streams. I can do more stuff for the Patreons. I can write so much more for my website. I can be on all the social accounts that I want to be on every single day. I'm feeling very optimistic at the moment, not just with all of this cruise stuff, but even the sun is coming out here in the UK, which is an absolute miracle. I really want to say thank you to you guys, but I don't have the words. You have changed my life. If you weren't here watching the videos, commenting, liking them, sharing my articles from my website, I would not be here at all. I'd like to say a special thank you to our Patreons, because without Patreon, this would not be happening. You guys have changed my life, and it's been so good getting to know you in 2020. Patreon is a way that you can support channels, and in return, you get exclusive content. So I do a podcast on there every week. We have Zoom calls for some of our Patreons and various other behind the scenes stuff. Of course, you do not have to. The best way you can support me, if you want to, is to comment on my videos, is to share them, is to view things, is to encourage me, because sometimes when I get those mean comments, I really appreciate your encouragement. But if you are somebody who wants to financially help this channel, Patreon is probably the best way, and it starts at $5 per month. I've already got my next big project lined up. I recently won a contest with Income School, which is a blogging community that I'm a part of, called the Ultimate Content Warrior. The idea of that challenge was to find the ultimate content warrior, basically the person who could make YouTube videos, who could write blog posts, and I won out of the entire world the Ultimate Content Warrior Challenge, which is absolutely crazy. As part of winning that prize, one of the prizes was a job contract to work on a project with Income School. So I'm going to be building a course for Income School all about Patreon, which I'm really looking forward to. If you're somebody who's interested in blogging and making blogs and YouTube into more of a business, Project 24, cannot recommend it enough. I'll put the links in the description. I think most of you are here for the cruising rather than the kind of YouTube side, but whatever you're here for, I appreciate you a lot. So that will be my next big project. At the time of filming this, I've got 4 days left at my day job, and then I'll be moving on to making this course, and then on to becoming a full-time Emma Cruises. If you're watching this in the future, I may already be full-time Emma Cruises, and hopefully that is working out well for me. I'm not going to pretend that this isn't scary, leaving the security of a secure job, but I think to me, 2020 has made me realise a lot of things. It's also made me realise why I cruise. I haven't seen my family in months, and the idea of going on a cruise and just spending time with them, even if we're not doing anything, even if we're just sitting on a balcony or eating dinner, sounds absolutely amazing. I think we're going to appreciate everything more as we get back to cruising and as we get back to normal life. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me, because I wouldn't be making this journey by myself, and that would just be awful, because it is you guys that I like. That's why I'm here, as a way to talk to you. Now, have I forgotten to say anything? I don't know. I just wanted to say thanks and update you that I have quit my day job, and you're going to see more of Emma Cruises around the internet. Hopefully that's a good thing and you're not sick of me yet.